Welcome to Takeover, the most underrated sports debate show on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe for all our weekly sports content. We're giving it to you guys every single week.
As you guys already know out there, my name is Josh.
My name is Deandra.
It's your boy Cam, and this is Takeover.
We play it all in night. Need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind out the muscle, pull up. Parker right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Not that holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter. You know I'm facing. When I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need a couple.
All right, so starting off with the NBA, the Brooklyn Nets have acquired another piece in LaMarcus Aldridge. So that's adding more firepower to a team who already has the most in the NBA. So if Kevin Durant were to win this title with the Brooklyn Nets, where does his legacy stand?
I'm so glad that you asked this question because this is a question that I have seen essentially asked and answered, by the same person that asked it for the last 2 years, or 3-4 years, ever since Kevin Durant signed with the Golden State Warriors. Kevin Durant's legacy would simply be enhanced. In my opinion, he's already a top 10 player. I think this one would, I don't know if it would move him up any farther, but it definitely can't hurt him. I know everybody's going to say that this ring will not count, just like his other two didn't count. All of Kevin Durant's rings count. All right, don't get it confused. Kevin Durant played the 82-game season. All right, Kevin Durant was, I would argue, one of the main reasons that Golden State won those 2 titles that he was there. Because before he came there, they blew a 3-1 lead. And then Kevin came, and they won everything by 5 games. I'm tired of pretending that these rings don't count. If you can give me one good reason why it shouldn't count towards his legacy, then we can have a conversation. But there really is no reason. Does he have a stacked team? Okay, sure. The front office did its job. That shouldn't go against Kevin. The front office built a great culture, got Kevin and Kyrie to buy in, and then they were willing to put in the assets that nobody else was willing to put in to get James Harden. And that's why LaMarcus Aldridge and Blake Griffin came, because they're veterans who are looking for rings because they never really contended. So now they're trying to get the chance to get that ring. Should their rings be discounted because they're clearly ring chasing? Is it because he created the super team? Everybody creates super teams nowadays. That's not a new thing. First it was created by front offices and Danny Ainge, and then it was created by LeBron James, where he got 2 of his buddies to get together and they created the super team. Is it because it ruined the competitive balance, as Stephen A. Smith so eloquently put it? That is the stupidest argument I've ever heard, because NBA GMs don't give a crap about competitive balance. If they find a move that makes their team better, it is their obligation to do it. They're not here to make this more competitive. They're here to make their team the best it can possibly be and give them the best chance to end up with the championship. You're telling me if you were a GM and you had LaMarcus Aldridge in front of you with a contract, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm willing to sign this for a veteran minimum," you think you're going to sit there and go, "Well, I think it would just ruin the competitive balance of the league, so I think we're gonna have to rescind it. Sorry, LaMarcus, go play somewhere else." I don't think anybody would do that. So we can't have this conversation. Kevin Durant's legacy would be enhanced because he would have a 3rd ring. It's simple as that.
You done?
I'm done.
Okay, now that you've blabbered about that, this ring absolutely does nothing for Kevin Durant's legacy. If anything, it may even denote it a little bit. Everyone gets obsessed with rings. The whole account about who's the greatest player. How many rings does he have? What did he do in this moment? What was the resilience like? And it all brings me back. This whole Kevin Durant situation, this whole super team situation, brings me back to what Damian Lillard had said in the bubble to Paul George. Keep switching teams, running from the grind. You boys is chumps. KD, cerebral, former MVP, 4-time scoring champ, 11-time All-Star, can score from all over the court. The most efficient guy to do it. I'll probably put out the best pure scorer almost ever touch a basketball. All those things. He's that great. So, OKC, you up 3-1 versus a 73-9 team. Kevin, what do? You blow that lead. And then you go to that team and you break the whole competitive scale. How are we gonna say how good Kevin Durant is when the people he's playing with are if not good, if not just the same, like even better than he was at the point. You have the best shooting backcourt of all time in Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. You got the defensive player of the year in Draymond Green, all on the same team. It kind of denotes how great Kevin Durant is because all the things that are around him, and we'll never really appreciate how good Kevin actually is. And then when he leaves the team, Kevin has the audacity to say, "Oh, I didn't feel like this was Steph's team. This wasn't my team. That's why I left." So he joins Brooklyn. He's there with Kyrie. So you think, okay, this is Kevin Durant's chance to make his statement here. You know what I'm saying? You have Kyrie. This is a good Brooklyn team. You have good pieces like LeVert, Dinwiddie, Allen. This is a solid team. They came out the gate swinging. And what do? They're in cahoots with James Harden, and they go get the best shooting guard in the league?
Yep.
They get the best shooting guard in the league? It takes away from what he's actually doing on the court, how good he actually is. Then you look at what they do with Blake Griffin and Marcus Aldridge. As much as you like to discredit them for what they've done the past 2 years, those are two franchise players.
They were franchise players.
No, they still are franchise players. As much hold on, I'm getting to a point. I didn't cut you off when you were talking. I'm getting to a point. Look, when we have players that were first and second options on their team, now they're noted to the fourth and fifth. Of course, they're gonna play better because they're veterans. They were the first options on their team for a reason. LaMarcus Aldridge is gonna have open shots now that Kevin Durant and James Harden and Kyrie are playing. You look at Blake Griffin. Oh, he can't dunk. He hasn't done that. He dunked the first time he was there. What's being denoted from these veterans? These are still guys who can play just because they've had off seasons, just because of the situations they've been in, they haven't performed. It doesn't look good. And as far as Kevin Durant's legacy, it looks scary. I'm scared of LeBron James. How scared are we of a 36-year-old LeBron James? Where I need to go get James Harden. I need to go get the whole entire league to beat LeBron James. I would have look here. I personally, if Kevin Durant wins his ring, I would personally have more respect for what Jimmy Butler did last year than Kevin Durant actually winning a ring. Because he went through the East with no All-Star. He beat Giannis. All the time, he beat the Celtics and gave LeBron James one. AI in the Eastern Conference. Beat the Eastern Conference. Gave Shaq and Kobe one. Those are the things that we're going to respect. So as much as you want to get statistical, Kevin Durant did this, Kevin Durant did that, there's no adversity to what he's doing. It was an expectation the whole time. Go ahead. You gonna let D'Angelo talk or what you got?
He'll let you go first.
Jimmy Butler played with an All-Star, but go ahead. Bam Adebayo was an All-Star that year.
He was a rookie though.
Bam Adebayo was an All-Star.
He was a rookie though.
He wasn't a rookie. He was an All-Star last year.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't proven. Did you know Bam Adebayo for 2 years? Did you know that?
I knew him from the draft profiles. Yeah.
Stop it. Go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
It really doesn't change anything, in my opinion, especially when you look back at the championship with Golden State. I'm not going to be the person to say the rings don't count, but the value definitely isn't there. And what I really don't agree with you when you say it's enhanced, because many people.
It's a ring.
Huh?
It's a ring. One. He's got 3 now.
Yeah, but you would look at you could look at other players though. You will look at other players and you can see that.
Yes, 2.
Okay, I'm gonna continue that way. But like you look, obviously the biggest knock he has against Golden State when he joined that team. But then he joined with Kyrie Irving at the Nets and he had a chance to prove himself, like you said. But in KD's defense, prior to Kyrie and KD joining them, they were a 42-40 team. But then they both got injured. And I will say, KD didn't anticipate. I'm pretty sure he didn't anticipate Blake being able to be there, James Harden being there, and LaMarcus Aldridge being there. But what is KD supposed to do? Is he supposed to look at the owner and go, I don't want those players. I don't want Aldridge, I don't want Blake, and I don't want James Harden. But I see where you're coming from. However, with this, I believe the Nets championship means more than the Golden State championship. But the value of it to me just doesn't really.
Question. Okay, if it means what's the better big 3 to you? The big 3 that was in Golden State or the big 3 that's in Brooklyn right now? Personally, you have the most skilled point guard in the game.
But that's okay. I see what you're getting at, but also we questioned their depth at the beginning of the season too. Sure. And also I'm thinking about how that there's no other team in history that's beating that Golden State team, in my opinion. At least in my opinion. That's debatable to some people, but in my opinion, there's no other team beating that team. But to go further on with my point, to me, no matter whether you feel about the value of these championships, it doesn't matter because Kevin Durant is one of the most talented players in NBA history, like you said, and he's amongst one of the best scorers ever. And we talk about these players building super teams, but there's also the flip side of that. There's also players who were amazing players and they had a lot of talent. However, their careers were questionable because they never had the desired success. So you have that flip side as well. And to me, no matter how you feel about him going to Golden State, or no matter how you feel about him winning this championship, if they win the championship, KD isn't going to be held out of those all-time conversations. He isn't going to be ever forgotten. So doesn't matter how you feel about it, he's going to be in the conversation. So that's how I feel about the situation.
It's real hard to judge when you just teaming up with all the bros all the time, and all the bros average over 25
I hate
points.
this idea that you have brought forth of he got James Harden. Brooklyn got James Harden.
They were talking before.
Brooklyn went and got James Harden. You're telling me that Kevin Durant made that trade?
I'm not saying he made the trade. They're all friends. They were in cahoots when it happened.
So if that counts, then should we take away LeBron's rings in Miami? Because
didn't LeBron go back to Cleveland and win a championship?
He did. So so we should count that one for sure. But should we take away the ones in Miami because he got together with Chris Bosh and Dwayne Wade?
There should be criticism towards it.
Didn't Ray Allen take less to play for that team and accept a bench role?
Was Ray Allen in his prime in that team?
He wasn't, but he was still a good player. He would have started in Boston if he had stayed. But he took less and took a bench role.
Sure.
So why do we
LeBron
not?
James should get the criticism.
So why? But you don't criticize LeBron James.
We do criticize LeBron.
You called him the GOAT recently.
No, I did not. I said
you
he
said
was
he's going to be the GOAT.
He's up there for what he's done.
So why do we
not just win a championship?
So why do we not criticize him for this? Why do we not criticize him for these?
We do criticize him for it.
No, we don't.
Everyone criticizes LeBron who's Miami. Everyone does. You don't. Everyone does.
I've never seen anybody other than you.
You've never seen critics?
I've seen a few, but I've seen most people. I've seen more people criticize Kevin Durant for the same thing.
Well,
as opposed to
it's not the same thing.
But
it's not the same thing.
LeBron has been like, you've never seen like people calling LeBron, like they're accusing him of starting the super team thing.
I've seen him and that's baseless. But the fact of the matter is, I've seen more vitriol pointed towards Kevin Durant for the super team thing as opposed to LeBron.
Because the way he started, Josh, when you join a 73-9 what do you expect?
A 73-9 who blew a 3-1 lead. So if Kevin Durant doesn't join the Golden State Warriors, what happens?
He could go to another franchise.
What happens to Golden State specifically?
Who knows? Because it didn't happen. We don't know because it didn't happen. We don't know.
When we're talking about super teams, it's basically all the same premise. Like when you look at LeBron James, look at Miami. He went there because nothing was happening in Cleveland.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Then Kevin Durant went to Golden State. Or even when you look at LeBron, even though you wouldn't consider it a super team, he had Anthony Davis, right? It's all the same premise. Other teams and organizations do it better than other teams, but it's all the same premise.
So then why is Kevin the one why is Kevin the one that's criticized the most for it? I understand because he joined a 73-9 team. But why does that discount the
back-to-back unanimous MVP?
So then should we criticize?
Probably the best shooting guard of all time, and then you have Draymond Green. So should we take away the 80s Lakers rings because they had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic, and James Worthy and a bunch of great role players? They drafted Magic, but then Kareem asked for a trade there. Should we take away the 70s Lakers because Wilt Chamberlain directly asked for a trade out there? Should we take away the 86 Lakers because they had 5 Hall of Famers on their team? But I think
should we take away the Celtics?
He's joining teams, Josh. He's not like he's the rookie. He's going to the teams.
Okay,
he's going to Golden State.
Should we take away Bill Walton's ring from that team because he joined that team? Should we take away Dennis Johnson's ring because he joined that team?
Look, I think you're missing the point. Kevin Durant is so good. This is why this is a problem. Kevin Durant is that good. Kevin Durant doesn't need all of this.
Clearly.
Kevin Durant doesn't need all of this. He's stacking the deck, and he's not betting on himself. That's the problem. Because you look at whose team this is right now. James Harden looks like the top 3 player right now.
That's because Kevin's hurt.
Top 3 right now. What?
Kevin's hurt.
Sure.
Kevin's hurt. He's just not coming back, right?
That's fine.
He's not even back
But
yet.
I'm saying, it looks like James Harden is the guy right now.
Right now, because Kevin has barely played with him.
I guess.
I'm just saying, I think the criticism against him is a little much. But we're going to switch gears to the NFL because I could talk about this all day. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are bringing back all 22 starters from last year's Super Bowl run, which is, I believe, the first time it's ever been done. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But so, honestly, at this point, they're the favorites to come out of the NFC. But which team in the NFC do you think could potentially play spoiler to Tampa Bay?
So I chose the Rams because they've been a contending team and their weakness was really at the quarterback position, and especially with Jared Goff. And you look at an example that I think about, you look at how they played in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots. The defense was able to hold Tom Brady to, I think, like 12, 13 points. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But the Jared Goff wasn't able to rise above the New England defense and really get the job done. And I think Matthew Stafford will be able to fill in holes that Jared Goff will leave. He can extend plays. He can open up an offense, have explosive plays down the field, and he'll be able to readjust to plays that Jared Goff really couldn't do. So, for example, let's just say Sean McVay doesn't make a good good call or something, or a play doesn't turn out the way it's supposed to, I believe Matthew Stafford will be able to adjust in moments like that Jared Goff just couldn't execute. And they, like I said, they've been a contending team. They beat the Seahawks, and they got that far with Jared Goff, who really made mistakes a lot. So I can imagine how far they would get with Matthew Stafford. And I'm looking at their offense with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and they got Deshaun Jackson, and he has a lot of health issues. However, I feel like if he can stay healthy and he's paired with Matthew Stafford, who can get the ball downfield and he can really get downfield, he could be productive for them. You look at their defense, enough said, top 10 defense. They re-signed key parts with Darius Williams, Troy Hill, and Austin Blythe. And you know their value really comes with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. And so I'm thinking how they got to step up in the QB position. If they play defense like they played last season, it shouldn't be an issue. And also I'm thinking of the mind of Sean McVay. So I got the Rams.
She was preaching that good gospel, that whole entire take. I agree. As we've seen last Super Bowl, we've seen that D-lines can absolutely wreck games, and the Rams definitely can do that with Aaron Donald, Leonard Floyd, Ashawn Robinson. Aaron Donald and Floyd both ranked top 10 in sacks last year. Jalen Ramsey and Darius Williams on the outside are two lockdown corners, and the defense ranked first last year, as DeAndre said. And then you look at the QB and Matt Stafford. I think he's such a one-up to Jared Goff because, I feel like the team is really missing that quarterback, and I feel like that's holding back a lot of teams. Now they have that quarterback paired with Sean McVay. Cam Akers can really run the ball. Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I think this team will be ready to go when it comes to playoff time.
I always hate when we agree on this show because it leaves me with nothing to say when you speak last. I picked the Rams as well because realistically everybody else that would have been a contender lost key pieces. The Packers lost Jamal Williams and Corey Linsley, so their run game will not be the same, and they still don't have an actual wide receiver not named Devontae Adams. The Saints lost Drew Brees, they lost Emmanuel Sanders, they lost Janoris Jenkins, they lost a few other pieces, and now they're trusting Jameis Winston at quarterback. So 7-9. The Seahawks lost Shaquille Griffin, and their O-line is still tough. I didn't say nothing about the Falcons. The Falcons still suck themselves. The 49ers still have Jimmy G at quarterback, and I don't know if he's actually capable of staying healthy throughout a whole season. They also lost a bunch of key pieces in the secondary because Richard Sherman's still out there. So while the Rams did lose a few pieces in their secondary, they were able to keep Darius Williams around. They were able to keep Leonard Floyd. And they fixed the biggest problem, which was at quarterback, because Jared Goff is bad. He does not good at playing football. And Matthew Stafford is a lot better than him. So he'll actually be able to take advantage of the weapons he has.
That is going to wrap up our show today. Josh, do you have anything to say?
Nobody's taking me up on my offer. I'm offering you money. I'm offering you money to advertise this show, and I have not seen anybody tell me that they did it. I promise I'll pay up. I promise you. I'll download PayPal to help out with this. But do that, like, comment, subscribe, send in your takes if you have any. We get tired of coming up with them ourselves. It helps to have somebody else to respond to because... Again, y'all actually bring good takes. Like, I enjoy a lot of the stuff that y'all send in, especially you, Koa. You're my favorite. I wish you would come here instead of I'm playing. I love you, Cam. You're the best. I think I'm done. I've gone on my advertising spiel.
Anything, D'Angelo?
Nope, I'm good.
Look, between the love-hate relationship between me and Josh, that's my guy over there, right? That's my guy.
For real.
But,
Hey, it was a good episode. Good job.
You know what I'm saying. But all right, Takeover out.
Yeah, we play it all tonight. Yeah, need it all in advance. The opposition know we're ready for it. Like a supper we eating, it won't be the last. Grind all the muscle, pull up. Park it right on the grass. We coming in, take over everything, run it up. Nothing holding me back. 3 in the wood, rushing. I don't like Dutch, don't even matter, you know I'm a face. And when I roll a paper, I like to go double. Run up a check, flip a W, make it an M. I need